right, good evening, morning, time of day you're listening to this. I'm Sam.
Heyo, I'm Adam.
We're talking about the long-awaited Sorceress album today.
Woohoo! Yeah, definitely talking about more Opeth this year for sure.
Hey, I saw them live. I never even got to talk about that on
That's,
this
that.
because it's been so long. Because you're done with school and I'm not done with school, and the
Mhm.
schedules got mixed up, and so much music came out.
So much music, but regardless, we're actually not here to talk about too much Opeth. We're we're
Are
we're
you sure, dude? I think the re-release of Incata Venom is my album of the year.
what? No, but
Paco.
what we are here to talk about is the best music of 2021. Whoa, we did this last year. We'll probably do it again next year. We're talking about the best stuff. The
The
best
best
stuff.
stuff.
The best stuff.
Nothing but the best. In
Yep.
the past, we used to really fight for certain spots and rankings in the lists, and I mean, I understand that, but I feel like we didn't listen to enough music this year to really go at it, and B, it seems like the strictly numbered list format is just kind of outdated,
No,
especially for something this niche.
it doesn't. We have listened to substantially less music, maybe, but we definitely have found ourselves listening to more just kind of on par music of what we normally listen to. So, like,
Yeah, this year was stupidly consistent as far
it's
as
a
metal
lot
releases.
more. It's a lot more difficult to distinguish actual place rankings. So we're just gonna do it this way. It's gonna be a lot easier, and we're gonna talk about a lot more stuff, which is ultimately a good thing, I think.
We'll be credit where credit is due, aping the Heavy Blog is Heavy format from their 2020 list, where they basically just have a bunch of different categories and then albums that are all generally good within those categories, because there was so much goddamn great music that was released this year, and if anyone's discovering this, they want to hear, they don't want to just hear the taste-made picks. They want to hear things that are maybe unique, maybe put our own spin on, and we think this format will allow a little more
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Though, let's talk about past few weeks. There's been a lot of great music. I have at least one concert to recap, and that's about.
Yeah, no,
about all.
we can definitely talk about what we've been listening to and what's come out in the recent times since we've dropped one of these.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were probably like three or so like list contenders released a couple weeks ago. What, we had Plebeian Grandstand, Converge, Blood Moon, and Chemist Deceiver.
Yep, at least. I mean, there's more than that too. I mean, I don't know even how extensively we've talked about something like Mastodon in this show.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it once, and I was like, "Oh, I really like this," and then that was right after it came out, so we didn't have too much time to sit with it.
But yeah, no,
Yeah, all right. Let's do the thing. We can straight off go back and forth.
Sure.
You can start.
All right. I guess I'll start with. I guess I don't want to talk too much about what we're going to be talking about later, so I guess I'll talk about some of the other stuff that's come out.
Yeah, sure.
So, while it might deserve a place on our list one day in some other universe, the Temple is a Ulcerate adjacent death and black metal group that dropped their debut, the self-titled The Temple. And I gotta say,
God,
it's pretty freaking darn good. It was independently released in like the middle of November, and it's just 40 minutes of like, I guess, the technicality of Ulcerate with some black metal elements, and like less, I guess, less writing in the way of something like Stare into Death and Be Still, and more just straight death metal and straight black metal. It's pretty fucking good. I gotta say. I've been grinding that a bunch.
This is like, I hate the fact that we sort of make our cutoff like the end of November, because stuff like this comes out where I know if I listen to it like twice, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Like,
No,
okay.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's how we missed like 100 Gex in 2019.
Yeah.
That's how we missed Caligula's Horus in 2017.
That's how we missed the new Katera album this year. But anyway.
That's how we missed a whole lot of Red. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that record's amazing. I've no doubt that if it came out like 3 months ago, I'd be like, all right, top 5 albums.
No, right.
But
yeah, no,
here we are.
Definitely check it if you haven't.
Definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I mentioned this by name, but the new 200 Stab Wounds is pretty fun for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to rip off a certain melon man, but if you like meat and potatoes death metal with plenty of hardcore, the shit rips. Like, it's so tropey. It's so like prototypical like early 90s, but with like slightly more polished production and like, I guess I don't want to say cleaner, but more intelligible like vocals generally. And I don't know, it's really fun. They did a show very close to where we live, like last month with a bunch of local bands, more into Blood Tithe, and it was awesome. I really wish I was there. So, shout out to that record. Yep. It'll definitely be in my gym playlist for a bit.
Right.
Gosh, I'm just like looking at this and it's like, oh, okay, all these records are going to be on the list somewhere. So let's just blow through them. All right, Plebeian Grandstand is album of the decade. It is untouchable, incredible, boundary pushing. It's top 5 material of the year for me. Probably the best record of the year for me. I did 2 interviews this week with 2 Black Market guys, Doug and Ian, and both of them talked about how incredible this record is and how it will stand the test of time. So
yeah, I mean, we'll get into it more, but it's post music.
It is. They've done it. Whatever it is.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't want to spend too much time on these,
right.
But
yeah.
Okay, Blood Moon is great. It's not a 10. It's quite good.
I think
it's probably like. It's probably better
good.
than like all we love we leave behind and like some of the mid-period Converge.
Yeah, I think
it's just well done.
I think it's got a little bit of a consistency issue and a little bit of the problem that I have had, at least with the most recent Wear Your Wounds record, which is being very, very samey. And I don't know, it seems like they write a couple of the songs just over it again on themselves. But it's okay. The record's definitely great. The performances are great. I really like, actually, the way that Chelsea and Converge and Brodsky all come together and do what they do, and they all really kind of add something unique to each one of these tracks that's very distinct, especially if you know the music already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they fucking nail it. Like, I mean, I think this record is super consistent. It sounds awesome. Performances are great, and it's like very good. I'd say it's like an 8.
Yeah,
like it's very well done. It's just we know these guys. We know basically everyone in this group is capable of making next level music, and while this is quite good, it's not quite next level.
Yeah.
Chemist's new record, I don't know, this record's fucking awesome. It's up there for me.
Yeah, it's great.
It was a little bit of a grower at first. I was like, oh man, where's my behind the door or whatever? But no, now it's just like, okay, I don't even like trad. And with these like tasty heavy metal leads and occasional baritone ooze, just like, I don't know, it's perfect.
No, it's looking nice. I mean, Chemist really has they have like the perfect blend between doom and heavy metal, and they've kind of made it that way with this record, because Deceiver had a little bit too much, not Deceiver, Desolation, yeah, had a little bit too much heavy metal, just kind of normalcy to it, very straightforward. This one does kind of, it's not afraid to get dirty and gritty like the first 2 records, and so there's a lot of moments on here that kind of reflect those ones, and I can definitely appreciate that. They've come a long way as a band, certainly, and while honestly I do think that it sounds worse with better production, just a little bit, I do still think it's pretty great.
Yeah, no, I mean, the spoiler, this record's going to be in our list. Let's see. As the thing is, like, I have a bunch of stuff I've been listening to, but nothing like.
Have you listened to the
recent.
Stormkeep album, Sam?
I have listened to the Stormkeep record. It's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, there's so much like really good black metal that gets released.
No, right.
And I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just a normie, and I have to get my taste-made picks before I really delve into them. But
no, I think it's fine. Like, it's a fine black metal album. Like, yeah,
it's good. It's not incredible.
There's definitely better that was released this year, but like, it's a good record.
I guess I will mention the Obscura too.
Yeah, sure.
And then you can go into the ones that I clearly haven't listened to that you have.
Clearly.
But I'm not the biggest Obscura guy. Like, I recognize they're pretty important for modern tech death. Obviously, musicianship's always great. I didn't really like their 2018 record too much when I was like, a 6-year-old listening to tech death.
Right.
But this one's pretty good. It's much more like mellow death.
Yeah.
Or I guess like techno mellow death, but performances are great, songs are good. It's quite good. I don't think it's not like amazing. It's like a 7.
Yeah, no.
If you like Obscura, you'll love this.
Yeah,
I mean.
it's a good progressive tech death album. But yeah, no, not my type of music most of the time.
Yeah, I'm not running down to the store to get my fix of the Valediction. But that being said, I mean, it's a good record.
Right. Yeah, no, good record. All right, I guess I'll talk about, let's see. All Are to Return, who are a random noise band from somewhere that I should have definitely done my research on. But they just dropped their second EP. And it's sort of very body inspired, I guess, music. It's the closest thing that I think I've come to see from the body, other than like whatever the Sightless Pit. Aside from Sightless Pit, this is probably the closest music I've found to...
Kind of interesting that Megan Thee Stallion's influencing the Noise Underground.
No, shut up.
that was a horrible joke.
Sightless Pit, very similar to Sightless Pit. Very similar to the Body's new album, which we will be talking about, at least in some capacity in this episode. But the All Are to Return 2, which is the name of the EP, is like, it's 5 tracks of the very noisy kind of atmospheric sludge, industrial, whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's it's really well executed from these guys. So, I don't know, check it out. It's a cute little EP. Excited to see what they'll do going forward. But I've been running that one up quite a few times in the last month or so.
We definitely have our preferences when it comes to like new odd music.
Oh yeah. And I guess I don't really have too much more to talk about. I guess I could talk about this Caserta record, which is for you. Which is for you.
I'll talk about the Opeth concert.
Yeah, it's that little random one next to the Temple and Turnstile on my my graphic that I sent across the interwebs. But it's a really it's a Polish progressive sludge metal band, I guess I'll call it. It's very weird, very kind of metalcore-y with lots of breakdowns and turnarounds. It's kind of interesting the way that they kind of just bounce between all of these different, I guess, frontier-like snaps between like tempos and their sounds. It's pretty cool. Check it out. You'll have fun. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Fuck. I don't have too much more to talk about. That's been mostly it. Let me check my back catalog.
To climb these stairs again, bearing a tray, might be to find you pillowed with your books. As far as, I mean, we're gonna get into basically all the music I've been listening to in about 10 minutes, or probably shorter. I just wanted to do a quick concert report for Opeth because, all right, so I saw Opeth by myself without Adam, who unceremoniously noped out at the last second.
Circumstances. But I am rather in tears because of it. I was actually pretty upset. But continue. Anyway, tell your story.
So, I guess I'll take it from the top. So driving down from where I am, now it takes about an hour to get to Boston, right? This trip took 2 hours because there were not 1 but 3 car accidents on the route I usually take. And it was really painful. Like, I'm normally fine sitting in traffic, but knowing that like I may or may not like miss like the opener or like some of Mastodon's set, some of Opeth's set was like pretty disappointing. Finally got there, and then it took me 45 goddamn minutes to park.
That sucks. That's all.
Yeah,
that's awful.
It was brutal. Well, there was like some weird event going on in the theater district in Boston, and so they just kind of blocked off many of the normal places I park in. And so finally, whatever, it's like 7:30. I get in. Zealand have just finished their set, so missed them, unfortunately. I made it to my seat. I spent way too much money on my ticket, so I had a fairly good view. And then in like 10 minutes, my friend got there, and then Mastodon came on. And Mastodon were good. I will say, I don't know, I just wish the crowd was more involved. Like, we're seeing
Yeah.
Mastodon play, like, some of the better metal tunes written in the past 20 years. And, people, it's just like mostly boomers, like, nodding their heads
Yeah.
gently. Like,
Yeah.
they played Mother Puncher, and, like, me and my buddy were like, can we start a pit or something?
Yeah.
you know and same thing with like Blood and Thunder, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Mastodon put in a good show. They were relatively tight. Vocals were somewhat off, I think more off than the last time I saw them, but it was still good.
Yep.
And seeing the Czar live was amazing.
Pretty
Really
great.
really cool stuff. And Blood and Thunder live too for the first time was amazing, as you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
At that point we realized there were like 3 or 4 seats like right in front of the stage that no one was sitting in. So
Yeah.
me and my friend just moved up because it looked like they weren't really enforcing any seating policies. So as Opeth sort of got ready, as the roadies started changing things around, I was like 6 rows back.
That's not bad.
Basically
No,
right
yeah.
in front of the stage, could see the band perfectly. Opeth came on, and I will say they're like probably one of the tightest live bands I've ever seen. They're you could really tell these guys are like world conquerors in Europe, and when they come to America, they're definitely like punching under their weight.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
their mix sounded impeccable. I could hear every note of both guitars of both Frederick and Michael. Hear the drums sounded awesome, but Mendes' bass sounded amazing, and so did the keyboards. Like, it was all just mixed perfectly.
Yeah.
Super tight. I don't I've listened to quite a lot of Opeth this year.
Yeah.
I don't think I heard a single musical flub. Their replacement drummer Sammy did an amazing job. Yeah, he had sort of that light touch that was kind of reminiscent of like Lopez's jazzy stuff.
Good.
As far as the set list was concerned, I wish they played more older stuff or played for a bit longer, but it was still quite amazing. Seeing Deliverance, The Drapery Falls, and Window Pane live were like watershed moments for me.
Yeah.
No pun. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I teared up. It was awesome. Once again, I wish like Opeth were playing like House of Blues or like Worcester, because that way, like you can demolish a pit when they play Demon of the Fall or Deliverance, to these ridiculously heavy like Sweet Death songs. And I just wish the crowd was a little more into it because I know every note to all those songs.
Oh, right,
and
right.
I just wanted to go bananas.
Yeah.
That being said, amazing show. Really glad I went. I don't know, I hate seated shows, and I'd really only do it for bands that I hold that near and dear to my heart, like Opeth.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. It sucks.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But yeah, no, I bet it was a good time.
Would recommend the even the new stuff sounded amazing live.
I
Like they
believe
played
it. Yeah.
they played Sorceress, Cusp of Eternity, Devil's Orchard, and Heart in Hand, and all of them were like impeccable. Especially
Yeah.
like the Devil's Orchard and Cusp of Eternity, like sickeningly good live. Like,
No.
I don't even enjoy those songs that much, and it was like
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
they're so yeah, good show. Would recommend.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
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 I'll see. Maybe Adam will come with me to see Show Me the Body in Sanguisugabog on Tuesday.
Maybe, but my sights are more looking towards Primitive Man, Blood Incantation, Sissy Spacek, Jarhead Fertilizer, and Withered in like 2 weeks. But
Yeah, that's another one to look for. And 100 Gex in a couple.
and
weeks.
100 Gex. Don't you worry, PM Metal Guide. You will certainly get a concert report.
Oh, I guess before we delve into the meat of this, what are our thoughts on Me? Now it's been out for like a couple weeks. That being the new 100 Gex single, of course.
I'm still not on the me train.
Yeah, I feel like they're
I'm
punching
not.
a little under their weight.
I'm
Like,
not.
These are like I've heard all the stuff Dylan Breedy and Laura Less have been involved with in the past years, and like they basically released nothing but like bangers, and this song is just kind of, I don't know, doesn't feel, I don't think it's quite nearly as good as some of their more recent solo stuff.
No,
Like,
I mean,
Dylan's Cake Party's great, Laura Less's solo releases have been great, so
it really does kind of just feel like every other hyperpop song that's on TikTok right now.
yeah, no, seriously.
It's just the same basic thing. Like it has very simple, childish kind of beat that like you feel like you'd get from ripping off 100 Gex, but not from 100 Gex. It's strange, but I mean, people like it.
Yeah, people
I'm
like
sure-
it. I'm sure we'll slap live, and maybe
Yeah.
like I read there's a fairly good Pitchfork like feature with the Gex early in the year in like September, and it seems like these guys have written over like 300 songs for their new record.
Right.
So I'm sure, I don't know. I have relative faith that these two Gen Zers will be able to make a good one.
Yeah, I'm in no way afraid.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if like this single isn't on the record.
No, yeah, it could be a joke or just a random
Like
single
a
that they wanted to
standalone
drop.
single.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anywho, PM Metal Guide list 2021. Maybe it will get released in 2021. Who knows?
Well, this podcast will certainly get released in 2021. Whether
True.
the list will get out before then, that is the test.
So me and Adam right now are in a shared Excel sheet. I know this is a wonderful audio only experience, but we have 10 rough sort of rough sort of categories that we're gonna put 3, 4, 5 records into each of them.
Yeah.
And the records we put into them are all generally considered to be quite good album of the year picks.
Yeah.
So we should be around 40 records.
Yeah, something like that.
So do we start with the can't miss ones, or do we put everything in and then decide like what goes into like the goated category?
I don't know. I feel like we could kind of put things in where they go and then move them around where we see fit. That sounds
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, that sounds fine. All right, so I guess to start things off, one of our categories is called post-punk Lamau.
Yeah, that one will be really easy.
That one is really easy. Spoiler alert, the UK post-punk scene
It kind of blew up. It is blowing
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah.
most of the records that come out of at least sort of the critically acclaimed sort of I guess internet post-punk, most of it's quite good.
Yeah, like, I mean, spoiler, like, Black Midi and Black Country New Road are both, like, serious album of the year contenders. Squid
Right.
is quite good, and Shame is quite good. So, I'd throw them all in there.
Would
We
you
can-
would you put Idols in there, Sam?
No, I don't think the Idols record's very good.
No, I don't think it's very good either.
I really thought for a while I was going to be like, you know what, this is great, right? Because everyone was hyped about it. And, I don't know, I've listened to it like 5 times, and it does nothing for me.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to sound too jaded, but I think I'm a little too old for Idols in the sense where like I've just heard quite a lot of post-punk at this point, and so all of their like tricks and whatnot aren't as novel to me.
No, it makes sense. And I mean, I don't know. There's definitely something to say for the energy just kind of dropping through their career.
I agree.
Has at least taken a toll for me.
No, I
but
agree.
yeah, no, those are definitely some excellent contenders on that.
Yeah,
list.
I mean, if I guess we wanted to go a little bit more specific into them, Black Country New Road is this just really sprawling opus, taking influence from everything. We got the klezmer sections, slint sections, and as well as just really memorable songs and performances. A lot of great textural work there too.
Yeah. Black Midi just doing bonkers King Crimson worship on this record, at least, but they kind of dive everywhere into blues, into like not ambient, classical jazz. They really do it all on this album. It's a perfect growth for them in their career.
I agree. Really well done. Squid. Or I guess Shame's actually next. Shame. They released their record Drunk Tank Pink back in like January, like second or third week.
Yeah, it was like February or something like that.
And I remember like listening to it and being like, oh, this is pretty good. And I've held that opinion since. It's just really consistent, well done, a little more pop focused post punk, just enough like noise rock and post rock elements for me. The hooks are there, performances are there. It sounds great. It's really fun and a really just like enjoyable record that I can throw on in front of like my parents and they'd be like, oh, this isn't horrible.
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, Shame are great. I also really like their live video they did this year. That was really funny. Enjoyed that one.
And for Squid, I think it's a lot of the same sentiment kind of rubs off for Shame, other than their style's a little bit different. They take definitely a more art rock approach to the they take a more art rock approach to the post punk. And they're pretty. They make some really nice winding songs that have really catchy moments and really interesting stuff going on. Aside from the more, I guess, kind of straightforward sound that they go for.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've listened to the Squid EP a few times in the past month just to like get some context of like as to where they've gone, and this is a pretty outstanding release. The songs are fairly sprawling. They intersperse a lot of different influences, like the other bands you've heard, and that it feels like a little bit more visceral, I guess, than the others. Like,
Yeah.
I like in a song like Narrator, which is crescendos to this ridiculous like noise climax, or a song like Global Groove, which just feels like very menacing, even though not quite like metal or not quite that heavy. But
Right.
yeah, it's a really good record. I mean, it's really cool to see a bunch of people that are like basically the same age as me and Adam just making amazing music from the UK, bruv.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like that's really something that isn't always or hasn't always been there in kind of the post 1900s world of music. The UK has always had young people jumping up and down, so something's in the water over there.
Yeah, clearly. It's probably the years of unchecked colonialism
Probably.
and imperial conquest.
But yeah. But yeah, no, do we have any other post-punk groups that you can think of? Right of the way. The new
have
Citizen
like
album, Sam?
Well, there's also the new Liars record.
Yep.
There are a few like re-releases. I don't know. As far as like, it feels kind of like, I don't want to say normie or plebeian to like put all these four just on there, but these records are all great. They represent a really exciting scene, a really exciting time for underground music, and it's cool to be part of that wave. I imagine this is what it was like in the early 90s when like you had all these ridiculously good shoegaze and post-rock bands just popping up out of nowhere and releasing awesome stuff.
Right.
All right, what category do you want to tackle next?
I guess we could do. Let's do Catchy AF. We're sticking light for now. We'll start with Catchy AF.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a few in mind here, but I'll let you start.
I guess one that I would definitely look at would be probably the new Leprous record.
Ooh, my man's whipping out the new Leprous record.
I will whip out the new Leprous record. I do think that it does do just enough to kind of push it into that category where like I do consistently find myself listening to these songs, and like it is consistently great every time I listen to it.
Yeah,
and,
no, I agree. I think it's kind of a step up from both Molina and Pitfalls, at least as a record. Like, you know, we can argue about individual songs all day, but
yeah, no, I don't think necessarily the quality has really increased of their songwriting, but what definitely has improved is their ability to kind of merge their two big influences or the two sounds that they want to make together. So I'd definitely be willing to at least put it in contention.
I mean, look, I'll put it on there. I agree. I wasn't going to bring it up because I wasn't sure your opinion of it necessarily, but Nighttime Disguise is like song of the year. So
yeah, I mean,
and also like it's like, look, Leprous have always been great songwriters. This record is just enough better than the past two to get it there for me.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
All right, we'll go with the obvious pick. Whole Lot of Red by Playboi Carti.
I mean, can we even? Is there even an argument to be made?
Like, there are a few different ways you can praise this record. I'm gonna go with the post music argument in the sense where like everything that Carti does here is like almost a parody of like pop trap music in itself. Like, not only are the beats like so infantile, like so simple, so dumb, so in your face, like they sound like they were recorded on like a kid's recorder. Not only are Carti's bars like some of the worst things you've heard in the entirety of like rap, where he'll just repeat like one phrase for about a minute and then talk about like the same three topics, whether it be like schlats, females on his dick, or like drugs, and he'll just loop these over and over again. Not only is his delivery itself bad, a combination of these like the baby voice and like just kind of an ineffective like modern trap like delivery, but just like all these things like kind of culminate to make it something that feels like post-trap for me. I don't know. It's like this really weird phenomenon where every individual aspect of it is like so in your face and so like technically kind of atrocious that it elevates the whole thing. I don't know.
No, it really does. And it did take a little while for me to kind of get on the Cardi grind, but like if I'm at a party, I don't put on anything else. Because it consistently will get you going. It's got great energy, and like it does fall into the trap just perfectly while still maintaining to be like just on a step above or a step to the side even. Just
no, it's really bizarre.
Out of time and out of context. It's really...
And, like, look, credit where credit's due. Like, Cardi, I don't know if this is, like, a planned-out technical thing or if it's just intuition, but the man knows how to deliver, like, incredibly satisfying hooks and verses and, like, glide over beats that are way better than his ability. And I don't know. The whole thing is just great. I know this came out in December of last year, but that's basically past the cutoff for most publications. So I will, as a self-proclaimed metal musical elitist, I will gladly throw a whole lot of red on there.
I'd throw a whole lot of red on there. That's fine. That's fine. I guess in the same vein, then we should probably put the JPEG Mafia record from this year, LP, in this same category.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Peggy knows what he's doing. And I think this is actually his best record. Like, you can make critiques of Veteran for being a little inconsistent, especially in the B-sides. You can make critiques of All My Heroes Are Cornballs for similar things. And you can make critiques of Black Ben Carson for just not really functioning as a record. And this record not only has, like, the individual bangers, not only features, like, really out there, forward-thinking production, but also flows incredibly well. And just delivers in a way that I feel like Peggy hasn't done before. A lot was made of Cornballs, of him really like coming into his own, and ushering in like a new era of mainstream alternative hip hop. And I think, at least for me, this record accomplishes that much more. Like you have utter bangers like Bald, which I keep coming back for. You got Trust, I keep coming back for. You got Nemo, and as well as just like really eccentric and good production, really wonderful fleshed out performances, and the whole thing just works as a complete thought in a way I feel like his other works haven't.
No, I totally agree. This is the first time I've felt even kind of a little bit connected to a JPEG Mafia album. Like, I liked Cornballs a lot, and I'm not really familiar with much of his older catalog. But yeah, LP really does feel kind of full. I think it can like most sort of similar albums, like just take my attention a little bit away. Some of the beats sound a little too similar to me, and some of the progressions sound the same. But like, he also does some really, really interesting stuff, like rapping over a frickin' Gent song. Yeah. Like I don't know, like a lot of the stuff that he does is definitely outside of what we normally hear. And he did it again. It's a great, catchy record, but also is really well made.
Yeah, no, I'd fully agree. Big ups to Peggy. I guess the Bandcamp version is the superior version.
I would agree, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah.
They're both good. All right. Next up, mentioned it briefly earlier. As far as catchy records go, Chemist has got to be on here.
Oh yeah. I would say so. The way that Chemist makes their doom metal is so perfectly traditional, but also just like so greatly, I guess, pushing of the doom metal modern genre itself. I mean, like, when I think of a modern doom metal band, I think of something like Spirit Adrift, and that music just doesn't catch me one.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
But Chemist really kind of makes, I don't know, it's not a narrative, but like you really want to listen. You just want to keep listening every single time you put on a Chemist song. The riffs are so infectious, and like The vocal performances and the way that the songs progress really drive the songs through all the way. And the production on these albums, the newer ones, are definitely a lot punchier, and so you can hear pretty much everything, and it really makes it a driving force. I don't know if it does the music justice for that, because I do think a lot of the old Chemist definitely was at its best in those slow moments where you could just hear the fuzz kind of break apart in the mix, and but here it definitely pushes them to be, I guess, a real metal band.
Yeah, I think it's a preference thing, right? Because
Yeah.
like obviously, we listen to a lot of noise and sludge and come from an extreme metal background, so we're gonna favor the sort of grimy,
No, right.
raw production. But I mean, I think for this music, this production works fairly well. It sounds great, very punchy. Like you said, it's crystal clear. You can hear basically everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this thing's just immaculately written. Like all their other records had like rough 2-year turnarounds. This record had a 3-year turnaround, including COVID, and you can kind of tell. Like it just feels really complete. All the songs are great. They flow great. And the quality is just very, very high. With like you hear this thing once and you just every note of every song already.
Yeah.
And there's metal really does need more like amazing songwriters like this, and Chemists are there.
Yeah, I mean, every single time a Chemist album comes out, at least for us, it's big news. And
Yeah.
even with like how small the band is, or not small, but like 120,000 monthly listeners. I don't even know. Like that's
pretty big.
That's pretty big considering what where we've seen them. I mean, we saw them in a little dinky,
once, dude.
a little dinky like ballroom in Boston like 4 years ago. I don't know. It's really interesting to see that the band has pretty much kept up the same ideas and songwriting force through it. So I'm proud of them. This record's great.
I agree. This record's awesome. I'm glad they had it in them.
Yeah.
Do you have any other?
Catchy.
I mean, I have a few records that I'd consider catchy, but I'd guess I'd rather save them for the catharsis moment. But do you have any others that come to mind here?
Well, for now, I think that's fine for now. Actually, no. You know what? I would put the Death Heaven record in here too.
I was gonna put Death Heaven in the catharsis category.
Okay. Well, either way, we got Death Heaven in here.
Okay.
So either way, we can transition with it if we want to go to sheer catharsis.
No, I want to go to a heavier thing now.
All right.
Actually, do you know what comes up for catchy?
What?
The Armed, Ultra Pop.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that. I might consider that. I don't know. I might put that in production, because if anything, that record does best is its production.
Okay.
But anyway,
okay,
all right.
well,
So hold on. We got a couple. We'll put the outliers over to the side, and we'll try and figure that out. But you want to go to where do you want to go?
I was gonna let's go to fucking heavy as balls.
Heavier than balls. Okay. Well, there's a couple really easy picks for this one, I think. My first
Death.
I mean, yeah. Frontier just kind of like takes this category.
Yeah, right. Like that is like, it is so rare that when you're this deep in heavy music, that when you hear a record that it makes you viscerally uncomfortable. And not only do Frontier accomplish that, but like the whole thing's also great, very consistent. Like has bangers on bangers for days.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like we can talk about this record for a while. I think the last time Frontier released a record, it was number 3 for us.
It was our number 3.
So if that says anything,
it arguably should have been higher. But
yeah, I think you probably should have put it over the Rolo.
Yeah. But regardless, yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, the first time you put on this record, you won't be able to make it through all the way. I couldn't. I don't know. I don't know many people who could. It's some of the most visceral earwaves I have ever experienced. Like it's just full balls to the walls. It makes 50 minutes seem like an eternity, which is not a bad thing. but it really does just kind of push your listening ability to its full. The production is so heavy. This could also easily fit into the production category because, Pedrom's just absolutely thumping, like, destructive production is in full force on this record. And to their credit, because they're writing a little bit more eclectic songs. They're really drawing from a lot of different places while still having their super heavy math and metalcore bass. So, I mean, great stuff.
Yeah, this record's phenomenal. I may or may not sell a leg to see Arctangent this year.
No, right?
Like, oh my god.
Seriously,
Stupid.
yeah.
Alright, up next, there's so much that we can put here. I'm gonna say The Body.
Yeah, you want to put The Body? Okay. Yeah, I think The Body definitely would fit into this category. I don't know if it'll be one of the last ones that falls in there, because I do have a couple.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of like, pretty visceral like tech death / like black death that we could really like. There's a lot we could go here. Like, all right, Discord, ATVM, all right, Succumb, all right,
right.
Replicant, okay, a Worm, For me, though, of all those records, I think The Body is like just really, it's really strong. It's really good. The Body have like 40 albums or whatever, and most of them are pretty meh. They really they really blew up in big air quotes for their reputation as a live band, and for good reason. Like they're insane live, insane.
Yeah.
Right, but this record sees them. Like I feel like this is one of the rare records you can really feel the distortion in like the mix. Like,
no, I definitely know what you mean. Like, when you're listening to these songs, like, you do feel every moment of it. It's a different listening experience because you're forced to listen to the crackling. You're forced to listen to the waves of undulating synths that you don't really hear in any other normal, I guess, produced record. Because they try to avoid stuff like that. But in here, you're hearing every nuts bolts. It's literally like you're in an industrial factory and you're standing next to a fucking machine. You can hear the sound of what the machine is making and the movement of the machine itself, and that is obviously an accomplishment.
Yeah, no, it's pretty astounding. And also, like, the songs are noticeably like stronger than in past Body releases. Like, I fought. What's the 2017 one that we always make fun of?
Yeah, I fought against it, but I can't any longer.
Yeah, that record has a couple like good moments, but oh my god, it's boring, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this record is, engaging, start to finish, really like gorgeous moments juxtaposed with its typical bodyisms, like, and I don't know. I think it's always cool when you get sort of like mimetic moments, like, offering me my flesh, my soul, my skin, gift wrong soul. Right? And I don't know. I like this thing came out right at the beginning of the year, and right when it came out, we were like, "This is like the best song of the year so far." And for me, it's
No, yeah, it is remained up there.
Close.
I'd
argue that it's the reason why it's so heavy is because it has the juxtaposition, right? You know, it's not just like, I don't know, Napalm Death or whatever, where it's on 11 the whole time, or even Frontier, where it's on 11 the whole time. But you have all these moments of like relative respite, juxtaposed with the ludicrous like bodyisms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely The Body.
My case.
I'd like to. This is gonna be interesting. I would like to put Humanity's Last Breath in for contention in the heavier than Voss category.
I literally had this one written down. I was like, I'm not going to bring it up. There's no way Adam likes this record.
Hold on, though, because I don't know, man. This album, there's got to be at least one deathcore album on our list every year, and if it's anyone, it's got to be this one.
No, this thing is stupid. It's like, not like it. Humanity's Lost Breath were a meme for a little bit just because of how ridiculously heavy they are, and like this record is there. Like, once again, we have like the super like hyper modern progressive like deathcore production with juxtaposed with like drop Z guitars, right? With the punchiest fucking tones you've ever heard, ridiculously visceral, guttural vocal performances, and for the first time, I think in their career, having once again doing that juxtaposition where you have more post-metal segments mixed with, oh look, they're playing Demurge by Meshuggah but slower, right?
Yeah.
No, I think this record's sick. It really is it's really good. I think it's like a solid 4. I think there are really few flaws with it. And if you like any sort of deathcore or are sensitive, can appreciate it. This is great. This is like what the genre should be doing, right? Melding it with all these other styles and pushing it forward.
Yeah, no, it really draws from every element it can. Tech death, post metal, even black metal at points. Like, it's just really kind of like the best thing that I could picture being on modern metal radio. Because
I agree.
It fits every niche, and the performances are completely there. The production is stunning, and it's just it's fun as fuck. And it would be sick live.
I don't know. I think my uncle, who's a pretty big deathcore fan, got me tickets to see a full deathcore bill in February, and I'm not upset. Because but I was like, it'll be fun live,
Yeah.
The circuit's great. I'm surprised you mentioned it. I didn't think you were gonna.
No, it's definitely on there. I definitely think it should be at least talked about. I do think that there are definitely better albums. But yeah, no, definitely should be on there for a heavy category because it definitely made a splash for me.
No, I agree. I don't know what has to. We have probably Succumb, right?
This is heavier than balls. Yeah. I mean, you gotta give it to him. It had to be here somewhere, and I think this is a fine place to put it.
I don't know. The boys have done it. Actually, the people have done it.
The people have done it.
Female vocalist.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I splooged about this album about 2 months ago when it came out, and I'll do the same now. It is just, I don't know. It's kind of perfect. This is also exactly where modern death metal should be. I don't think there's a better record in the death metal category this year. I really don't. This one just hits every niche. It's got grindcore. It's got black metal. It's got every
some noise, some
noise, mathcore. It's got everything that you could want, and the production is just so gritty, so heavy, and they're incredible songwriters because, goddamn, I did not know a minute and a half opener could catch me so much than this one did. But it really just the entire record fully front to back just pummels you for a half hour and doesn't let go. The riffs are there.
At the end of the day, right? Death metal's all about capital R riffs and their interplay with the rhythm section, right? At its core, right? And not only does this record have capital R riffs pulling from basically every school of modern metal, but the rhythm side, specifically the drumming on this record is out of this world good. It is. Yeah. It's super flashy and super over the top, but not in a way that ever feels contrived. It gels incredibly well with the rest of what's going on, guides the ear well, and I don't know. This thing is just I know it's also relatively forward thinking. We could put the new Cannibal Corpse here, and that's a good record actually. It's quite good. Yeah, I'd say, but it's not boundary pushing anyway. Whereas this thing is definitely pushing the envelope just a little bit, and was released on Flenser of all places.
Very very strange rollout, but definitely worth it. I mean, I think this band has made their official splash because I remember when they were just what's this random Succumb record on the black market at number 1? I've never heard of this band. Oh, it's death metal? Oh, I probably won't like it. But I don't know. That was in 2017. Well,
and here we are.
Yeah, and I mean, on hearing these singles, it's great. This record's fully there. Every part and piece is working at its full capacity. It's great.
Yeah, pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. I don't know what else do you think for anything here? There's a distinct lack of black metal here.
That's good. We have 3 categories just for black metal.
I do actually have kind of maybe. Well, no, it might come in later. No, so never mind. I won't bring it up yet. I do want to bring it up at some point, though. All right, where from here? I mean, this is pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, these are all great records. All right, I mean, I guess genre, embodiments, void learn gazing, or boundary pushing music.
Let's do the genre embodiments, I guess.
Okay, well, all right. So Spectral Wound's gonna be there.
Yeah, so I guess we can start right with Spectral Wound. In talking about black metal. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. The Spectral Wound record, like, I could just re-echo the sentiments given in the Fantano episode about it, except give it a 10. So, like, I don't know. This record is just 90s black metal with modern production, and
And
that
performances
production
at 11.
Yeah, and everything's just turned to 11. I mean, it really is like classic Scandinavian black metal, except done in 2021 with modern, fully blasted production and great songwriting. You know, like it's completely original. It's not like I don't feel like it's an Emperor ripoff or a Mayhem ripoff. It's not a ripoff. It is its own thing distinctly, but it absolutely harkens back to that time and the style, and does it perfectly.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's basically synthesizing all these sounds into one really evocative whole. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Ugh. And yeah, no, just a blast from front to back. Like vocals here, especially, like they're the weak point in a lot of like black metal classics. Like I know every time I listen to Dumb Mysterious, Dumb Satanas, I'm like, oh man, Attila, why are you like gurgling, right?
Yeah, right.
This record is just like throat shredding, kvilts of the highest caliber.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
Well,
really
no,
great.
Oh yeah, it's as maximalist as it can get. Like this is music that you feel, and I've had this as my wake up, at least somewhere in there. Like this album has consistently been waking me up every day, or relatively every day since it's come out, and like no music has made me shoot out of bed quicker than hearing like the opening riff to Imperial Saison Noir, because I don't know, it just gets your heart pumping, and the music is just so aggressive. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah, like as a wise man once said, shit rips. Like
it's just a ripper front to back. It's perfect. It is the most black metal release of the year, and that goes without saying.
I'd agree with that.
All
right, my next next pick might surprise you. So, ever heard of this band Trivium?
I've never heard of Trivium. Who are they?
They play like technical thrash slash like butt rock slash.
Sam, you're not gonna put Trivium on our list, are you? Don't curse.
So I listened to this record. No, okay, no, that was a bit, not particularly funny bit. I'm honestly gonna go with Worm here.
Dude,
because I feel like if you look in a dictionary and you Google Death Doom, right, this is it, right?
Yeah. No, the Worm record. It wasn't suspect for me. I just kind of went into the Worm album being like, all right, this is gonna be a fine Death Doom album. No, I don't know. No, it's a Death Doom album. It's like a fully fledged goddamn
Death Doom album. Well, the thing is, like most Death Doom I listen to is just kind of boring, right? Like I saw a Funeral lead show open for Blood Incantation like last month, and that music's boring, right? It's basically just slowed down riffs with death growls and like occasional faster parts and mid tempo riffing. Whereas like on this Worm record, on $20 spin, of course, they're able to navigate these really long songs that are never feeling contrived, consistently very visceral, very very heavy, well written, good riffs, plenty of callbacks to other moments within the songs themselves, and like the whole thing never like I'm at no point during this am I like, oh man, right? And when I listen to basically all of Death Doom, I'd be like, oh man. So
right.
I think that is why, and I mean it's gotten quite good reviews. It's pretty beloved. Plenty of people agree.
No, I think the strength of this album to be really not catchy, but like definitely on a level where I can understand it just as a normal non-Death Doom stan. Like there's a bunch of flams and like 16 double bass flicks that kind of makes it feel like not deathcore, but like, I don't know, I feel the music feels very comfortable and it doesn't take too long to get where it wants to go. Like, I'm listening to the intro as we record this right now, and it's just sort of like, it takes its time, but also has enough flourish and riff writing to kind of make it into somewhere in between Death Doom, but not exactly what the genre generally stems from. But, like, this is Death Doom. Like, there's slow elements that move into faster elements that move into even faster elements that move back into slow elements with great riffs, like, super technical drumming and rhythm sections. And, like, they just do it super well.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it is Death Doom, but
Yeah.
it's really good Death Doom.
Yeah. Best way to put it. Yeah. So, have you listened to the Hellish Form album once this year?
No, literally not once.
Damn. Well, then I kind of want to put Body Void into contention for being the funeral / sludge doom album of the year. But I don't know. What are your opinions on
I mean,
this?
I don't know. I think I've only listened to Body Void about 4 times, but I think it's good. I don't think any time I was like, oh,
well, I don't.
This is...
Well, yeah, no, I don't think it's that good either.
I mean, well, I was gonna say, if we're talking about genre.
Well, all right. Hold on. All right, no, go for it. Say what you're gonna say. Do what you're gonna do.
Hear me out. Winter.
I don't know about the new Paysage Diver record. I don't know. I wasn't totally sold on Geister. Personally.
For me, I think it's just a different mindset. Because, like, you know, with the Involved, it's just atmospheric black metal, right? It is the most, like, black metal record you've ever heard in your life, right?
Yeah.
But for this, you know, it's, I think our boy's intention was to make it the whole thing much more, you know, visceral, much less focus on atmosphere and more focus on like intensity. And I think if you understand that, it's a fairly good record. I've listened to it like 10 times. I don't know, I really enjoy it. The songs always come on in the car when I'm done with records.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah. I don't think I've ever not really enjoyed this record.
I don't think I've never not enjoyed it. I definitely didn't give it enough love when it came out. Maybe just because, like, I was so... I was still...
To be fair, it came out in, like, a pretty stacked time period.
Yeah. And I don't know. I still haven't gotten over Involved, and I'm still trying to process everything that's on that record. I was not ready for a new full length, like...
Yeah, right, what the hell?
5 months later or whatever. So, yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I would consider putting it on there. I do think that there might be better candidates, though.
Okay, well,
for
I
that
mean,
spot.
like, I have plenty of just, you know, really good atmospheric black metal records where their defining characteristic is that they're atmospheric black metal. And, like, I don't want to just be like, okay, so Nultum / Wolves in the Throne Room /
All right, well, hold on.
Vukari / like Sigil / you know, because, you know, we could just do that for like 10 records that are all about the same.
Well, hold
quality.
on, I have a better... No. This... Well, no. All right, I'm gonna message a chat in general because I don't want to spoil for the viewers at home.
I mean, I was gonna say I think I have a pretty. Well, thing is, that record you just sent, I think is gonna be in our top.
See, okay, yeah, all right.
So that's why I haven't said Suffering Hour.
Well,
all right, hear me out. Let's fuck it, Thra.
Dude, that is atmospheric black metal. If you're going to do atmospheric black metal anyway, that's the goddamn way to do it. So you know what? I agree with that.
Like, I mean, granted, like I said, we could put literally like 30 atmospheric black metal records in here. And it's not that any of them are bad. It's just, in the fact they're all good. It's just, there's no real defining characteristic for a lot of them.
No. No, yeah, I gotta say, no, the two Thra records from this year are. I mean, I guess you could even put those in like something like Boundary Pushing or Catharsis or really Vordlorn Gazing. But I guess it does kind of cover the general atmospheric black metal umbrella pretty darn well. I mean, that is literally what it is. It is just the most lo-fi, ambient, droning black metal there is. It's just kind of so swallowing that it's hard to really quantify how to describe it. Yeah, no, Tara, just kind of the best lo-fi raw black metal that you could make, that fully innovates the genre into kind of something beyond where it is, but also really well highlights all of the aspects of atmospheric black metal wonderfully. Keyboards, long songs, quilty vocals, the shit. It do be the atmospheric black metal.
Hear me out.
Yeah, no, and
it do be,
and that goes for both the full length that they dropped in like August and the EP that they dropped earlier in the year. They're both pretty darn insane at doing what they want to do.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
Get on Spotify, please, unknown artist, please.
Yeah, what the heck, Thra. All right, I have a couple records that I think could finish out this category, but for reasons which might not seem totally apparent.
Okay.
First of which would be Paranorm.
Actually, you know what? I mean, if you wanted to stop, I'd be fine with it. Because, like, you're right. Like, the only other record that dropped this year in this genre that was of any note was the, can't remember. That's why it's not of note. Paranorm. Okay, they just, like, I don't know. There's no better tech thrash, this year.
Like, period, right?
At all.
The other band would be, like, Esok Trillium, just because, like, I feel like Dieth Requiem, the Serpent Soul, is, like, every meme about, like, pretentious dissonant metal in an album.
Yeah. No, but Paranorm, I mean, who knows? I don't know. We're going to have 5 for each, at least, so.
We're going to have 4 for each.
4?
5 for each means 50 write-ups, okay?
Oh, my gosh. Anyway.
Let's be real. Like, Paranorm came out in February. Record's untouchable. Great hooks, great performances. Really just well written. It really does use the best of like the old school thrash with like the more technical leanings of the current genre. And you know what? It's technical thrash that doesn't have a serial abuser as the vocalist and the guitarist.
Connotation. So. Yeah, no. It's definitely good that the genre can be spearheaded by better figures. I wish it was under better circumstances that they existed amongst like the other best genre or the other best artists in the genre. But
here we are.
Here we are. I mean, it's great. Like I don't like thrash metal very much, but like when it's done as you do on as you do on Empyrean, as you do on like all of the Vector records, it's just something about this sort of long form narrative progressive thrash, and just that progressive thrash that I don't know, it takes you away. It's great.
Yeah,
like
look,
it's super fun.
We all spent at least a few years when we were teenagers listening to, Metallica and Slayer and Megadeth, right? And like it or not, that's basically, it's embedded in all of our collective like metal subconscious. So whenever like a really great thrash record comes out, we're like, oh dude, it's thrash metal,
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as thrash metal records, right? It's like Paranorm this year. Like, am I missing anything? I don't think so.
No, yeah, I don't think you are.
That's a dude. We need some power representation in here,
bruh. No, we don't. But yeah, no. This record's great. I mean, like, it's hard for me to really critique it because I don't know too much about thrash metal. But like, the riffs are there. Obviously, the rhythm section is just pummeling. It's just tech death instrumentation, just with thrash, and like skank beats. It's good. It's great.
Well, yeah.
It's perfect.
Also, the hooks are there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you listen to a lot of the Death records, you know, what pushed Chuck over the top from all the other guys is that he knew how to write a killer song, right?
Yeah.
You know, all those Death hits have the sickest choruses ever, super sticky riffs, and you know, Paranorm definitely captures some of that glory.
Yeah, they definitely do a good job at making it feel like that. All right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Next category.
All right, let's do an easy category because that took some brain power.
Sure.
All right, so for legacy band smashing, we got Between the Buried and Me, we got Full of Hell, we got maybe even Mastodon. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if I would go so far for Mastodon, but I definitely think that Between the Buried and Me and Full of Hell deserve easy spots here. I mean,
no, we don't even need to talk about it really, but like, Colors 2 is the best record Between the Buried and Me have released since The Great Misdirect. I'll stand behind that statement. It's basically everything you want from the band and more. It's pretty damn amazing. If you're a fan of Between the Buried and Me, you'll love Colors 2. If you're not a fan of Between the Buried and Me, you'll never enjoy a record the band releases because they're all so inherently, you know, part of the band.
Uh-huh.
But that's it, dude. We're starting the official Parallax 2 hate brigade.
No. My God.
I said it.
Yeah, but anyway.
Full of Hell.
Yeah, Full of Hell. I mean, their new one is just the farthest pushing of their records so far, I think. And they're just pushing their own sound, which they had already been pushing to a great number. Like, they're just pushing it more. I mean, Burning Apparitions is a noise record, it's a power violence record, it's a grindcore record, but it's also all those in between. It's terrifying, it's haunting, it's also under 20 minutes. So, I don't know, if that's any indication of what this record can just kind of blow through in every song except for, you know, like a noise, 2 noise songs being over 3 minutes, like, this is just pummeling front to back. The production's incredible. The performances are incredible. Everything about it is just Full of Hell, done, Full of Hell. And they came back with fury. I mean, I personally wasn't the biggest fan of Weeping Choir. I really missed kind of the death metal days that they had been channeling on Trumpeting Ecstasy, but I don't know. They do power violence and noise to the best here.
Oh, totally. And like, what's cool about this record is it's I don't know how much you mentioned it, but it's just a little push forward, right, in their sound, just enough noise influence where it feels fresh, and while they still do their usual thing really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. Otherwise, for this category,
Wolves in the Throne Room.
I was gonna say Wolves in the Throne Room. I mean, they are a legacy band, and this record does smash. So
yeah, I mean, this is probably their best record in like 10 years.
No, yeah, I mean, Wolves in the Throne Room. Obviously, they've been around for a long, long time. They've kind of dwindled over the past couple of years, but coming back here with their most recent one, which I can't exactly remember the name of, but I'm going to look it up right now. Primordial Arcana. There's just something a little bit different that they managed to do here than they did on an album like Thrice Woven or even like Celestite. It brings in a lot more kind of dungeon synth and folk aspects that they have used in the past, but it really changes the way that they use them and actually melds them into the songs that they write, rather than just transitioning them or having them act as transitions. And I think that that's really been a benefit because it's helped them write more full songs, even though they're, not like 10-minute black metal opuses. They don't have to be. They can be 6 minutes and have like a really nice dungeon synth, like folky intro that transitions perfectly into just the ripping Quiltish black metal we all know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's quite good. There's actually been quite a lot of mainstream coverage on this record, funnily enough. But it's quite... I mean, look, I'll see them in Full of Hell.
Yeah, damn right.
Like, in a month and really enjoy myself.
Yeah.
All right, so Ruins of Bevrast.
No.
Yeah, no, the record is...
No.
That is not a record I am too fond of.
Nope, not myself either. I don't know.
It's probably like,
No,
is it a stretch to put Converge here?
I think a bit. Just a little. Because these 3 records that we've already put here, I think are substantially better than the Converge album. How do we feel about this album that I'm gonna send in chat? Or were you holding this album? Because I can see you holding it for another category.
Honestly,
but I mean, it
I
could
don't
go
really
here.
like the new Almond Ra.
No, hold on. No, don't do this. Don't do this.
I've listened to it like 5 times, and every single time I'm just like, oh, it's sludge metal, so they don't write songs. They just play that one riff over and over. I don't know, man. It's just boring. Like,
I don't know. I think that I've been listening to it a little bit recently in preparation, and I think it's a little bit better than you might be giving it credit for. I know we had this conversation.
Yeah, we literally had this conversation at least twice before.
Yeah.
Look, man, if you want to put it, I mean, I don't really have like I said, my push would probably be like Converge, you know, or like if you it's probably Converge for like legacy bands that are killing it, I mean, the thing is, like, I'd put Mastodon on here, but like it's just a good it's a good like modern Mastodon record. It's not a good like modern record, you know.
No, I don't know if I want to put Converge and Chelsea Wolf up there though. I don't know.
Yeah, look, I understand. Well, if you think
I don't know. We can come back.
All right, we'll keep each other both happy with Vajarda.
There you go. No, but yeah, no, I don't know. We'll keep it open. We can keep it open. We'll go through.
Okay,
we'll keep it open.
Because I mean, I know I definitely have some more. Yeah. For a few other categories.
All right. Yeah.
Let's hit sheer catharsis, because our definitions are definitely gonna start. Our opinions are definitely gonna start shifting as we go forward. So my number, we got to put Turnstile here.
You're a meme, but yeah, sure, Turnstile.
Turnstile is like honestly like top 5 albums of the year for me.
Yeah, see, I understand the sheer catharsis. I get it. I get the nod, but I mean, this record doesn't do it for me at all. The hits, the hardcore tracks do it for me, but everything else I really just can't get into. And maybe I just need to kind of let myself get absorbed by like the pretty pop synths and the like walls of reverb, but I don't know. It's not all there.
I think you know, coming from my background, this record requires you to make like a fairly large like recontextualization.
Oh yeah,
it's 311 playing hardcore and making a pop record. You know, like you got to think of it that way. Because if you're like going into this looking for like riffs and like, you know, New York beat down or whatever, you're gonna go looking for the wrong place. You know, this thing was literally produced by like a mainstream pop dude, and it's like 30 minutes long. All the songs slap, has so much energy, has so many fun moments. Like there's so many, I don't know, there's so many like one-liners from this record that I've quoted several times. I recognize like as far as like the riffs or whatever, you know, these things don't come close to like being good. But like the overall construction, the overall energy, the overall flow, the overall vibes, all really good, and it's a really fun time.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I can't really argue with that.
I mean, we don't need to belabor this point too much. What I mean, because I have a few more for sheer catharsis. What's your next bet?
I guess. And all right, when you say sheer catharsis,
it could also just mean like really powerful, like emotional music.
Really
like,
powerful emotional music. Okay.
Well, or like things that elicit a strong emotional reaction, right?
Sure.
Like you could be like Maricognitum or like
right. I think that Maricognitum probably fits just fine in here. I mean, I also think that could probably go into just the actually goated territory.
Yeah, right. Because like, you know, in my mind, I have like Maricognitum and Suffering Hour. Right. They're going to be in the goats, and the other two are going to duke it out for.
Have you listened to? I mean, I think you have the Koldovstvo record.
my man's out here name dropping Kadol stuff.
I'm if you have listened to it, I do think that is easily one of the more emotionally powerful records of the year.
I've only listened to it I think twice.
Because I do think, and I have had this album pretty much on repeat ever since the first single came out, because the first track on that album, and I know blah blah blah, haha, Adam loved the first track of every album, but this album specifically, I feel like the first track on this is one of the best songs of the year, and the emotion that carries from that first track bleeds into the rest of the record, and I do think that because of the way it's produced, the way it's recorded, which is just the most lo-fi kind of shoegaze black metal that I don't know I've ever heard. It really provides a powerful emotional center, and like the moaning vocals over the quilted vocals just fit so perfectly. It's I don't know. I would start.
You gotta throw it in there then. I mean, yeah. you don't like Turnstile at all. I listened to those a couple times, and I think it's pretty good. I just I'm giving that too much time.
I would definitely give it a little bit more time to it, because I do think it'll be. I do think it's worth it, and I want to watch the live performance at Roadburn, because I know that they're going to be streaming Roadburn again this year, and I got to see it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Next. Check.
All right. I said I wanted to put Deaf Heaven here earlier. My reasoning being that when I listen, like, you know, I think like probably one of my favorite albums of all time has to be Souvlaki, right? Like,
yeah.
It's more like poppy shoegaze, but just dripped in melancholy. Flows wonderfully. Lyrics are super, super sad, and like with some of the best individual songs of the time period, right? Like, they're, you know, you have the peaks and valleys of like Allison and Machine Gun, and on the 40 Days, and as the sun hits, and Souvlaki Space Station and Dagger, and the whole thing like just works and like transcends for me, right?
Yeah.
And when I listen to Infinite Granite, I don't really hear like. You know, I'm not really listening to like Black Gazy Deaf Heaven or even like a more like toned down version. I'm listening to basically a band playing like 90s shoegaze with better climaxes almost perfectly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, we talked about how the Deaf Heaven record got quite a bit of flack from the metal community, and I don't know, I don't see it. Like these songs are really great, even like the back cuts and the cuts that aren't, you know, the singles.
Yeah, no, and like as an album too, it's gorgeous.
No, it
like
really flows,
you know, you
perfectly.
just kind of like that's the thing about shoegaze, right? Is you just kind of like sit back and let it wash over you. And this thing like has a killer fucking track list. It has like the callbacks in Mombasa to Shellstar, which are awesome. It has peaks and valleys, and it has all these like natural climaxes too, right? Like in Villain or Mombasa, right? The whole where they just go bananas, or even Great Massive Color, right?
Yeah.
Or the gnashing, right? There are all these just moments of contrast that make the whole thing sound great. Produced amazingly, performances are great, like the voicings and the tones they use are really like of the moment. And hell, George Clark's not like the most gifted vocalist ever, but his voice really works for these songs.
Absolutely.
You know? It's relatively simple, like Morrissey-esque vocals with just a focus on melancholy above all else, and it just works. I don't know, like this thing is fucking amazing. It is like, a great record. Like if you have a boner for 90s shoegaze, you know, you're gonna love this. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I stand the Deaf Heaven pick in this sheer catharsis category.
Thank you. I mean, I have one more pick, which I think should probably go here. But do you have another?
No. Put it up.
I was gonna say I think Khan should probably go here.
I think that. Oh yeah. That record is great. Although.
Oh, I guess Godspeed You too, right?
See, that's interesting because I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I think it's got to be Godspeed. Because
I probably agree.
I mean that record is just kind of. I mean it's a Godspeed record. It is just kind of insane. But I will say that Kawan record is certainly of note. If we do an honorable mentions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Godspeed.
But yeah, no. Godspeed You, Black Emperor. Obviously, Goats. That could have actually. Hold on. No, that goes in Legacy Band Smashing. For
Oh
sure.
wow! I didn't
That's
even
our
realize
fourth.
that.
That's our fourth right there.
Yeah, that's definitely our fourth.
And then we can put Koan right into that slot. If we feel that necessary, because I mean, yeah, like it's kind of crazy that I don't know. I feel like Koan aren't a big band at all, at least in our sort of perspective, because we've come into them so late in their career, and they haven't released too much music. But like, yeah, man, Ice Fleet just hits. Like this album really just takes control of you and pilots you
it's like
on a
something
ship.
special.
Yeah,
like the piano interludes that Koan have sort of done for a while are gorgeous. The way like they build these things out of nothing, go full post rock. The clean vocals feel really like fully realized. They have the moments of contrast, which their most recent record was Lasting, and it's gorgeous. Like it's a cry album.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, sure. No, it, and I don't know. I think if we're talking about like the definition of catharsis and what I'm gonna feel while I'm feeling catharsis, I do feel like a lot of the moments on this record probably encapsulate that the best, because it is that really healthy mix of post rock, shoegaze, post metal, and whatever other classical instruments they're bringing in, violin, piano, whatever the hell they want to do.
And with just like a little bit of metal touch, whether it be doom or black metal.
Right.
It's and I don't know, it's a gorgeous work. Really, really.
Yeah, it's super powerful. Great stuff.
I agree.
4 categories. Which one should we do?
All right, let's see.
Yeah, we gotta say
Borderlands definitely gonna be the hardest. We just go straight to actually goated?
No,
okay.
No. That should be our last, because if we're gonna,
Well, let's do a boundary pushing music. I mean, I have.
Oh, I got plenty.
I have 4 albums that I think should just be there.
All right, what are they?
Cepidus, Plebeian Grandstand, Jute Gite, and Holocene. Papangu.
Yeah, I remember Papangu, but what else did you say?
I think the band.
Oh, Jukai. Oh my god.
Right?
No, it's Papangu.
Like,
No, it's Papangu.
Oh, okay. Like what? These records are all individually incredible. They're all boundary pushing. They I don't know. They just stand like in a lesser year. Any one of these could be like number 1, right?
I think so. I mean, they're very different, each one of them, and they all accomplish very different things. I think as far as like Cepidus and Papangu go, they're just really, really good interpretations of a pretty tried and true.
I think both of them are pretty wild. Because
they are wild, no question. But I do think that they both kind of hold like a different. They're in the music category, where Plebeian Grandstand and Jute Gite they sit outside of music and play in the dark with their toys.
Yeah, it always I swear, dude. Every year, Adam Campbell drops a new record, and you're like, oh, it's no Jute Gite. It's probably just gonna sound like, and then you like press play, and you hear like 18 vertical layers of like minor seconds and like aleatorically generated sequences, and you're like, and your face just gets melted off, and it's like the scene from Indiana Jones. Like,
no, right? Like
like he's just ascended. Right?
Yeah, there's no real way to quantify it other than naming it as its own thing and just keeping it outside and separated from everything else. The same thing goes to this Plebeian Grandstand, because with false highs, true lows, you could stick that in like Voidlorn Gazing and be fine, because that record is, all things considered, relatively straightforward for a blackened mathcore album, but like this is. Ren Sufi is just it's different.
It's something else, dude. Like I don't think either Doug or Ian were able to like really distinctly like say what it is. I mean, it's black and mathcore with like with a heavy like noise influence, right?
It's got noise. It's got slut. I mean, it's literally got everything, and the way that they construct the sounds on this album and the way these songs progress it's nothing I've ever heard before.
Yeah, like these textures are insane. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, this, it reminds me of, like, the Contortionists, where, like, their keyboardist isn't just a dude, you know, outlining chord progressions. He's making everyone in the band, like, come a little closer. And with, you know, with Plebeian Grandstand's new, like, harsh noise dude, right? It's not just a hardcore band with you know, a harsh noise guy in the corner, right? It's someone who's making textural, like, improvements to every aspect of their sound.
Yeah.
And it's like, all-encompassing. It's amazing.
It feels very... The closest thing I can really bring it to is, like, End On. I can't think of anything closer, because the noise punk sphere doesn't really have too much even in this vein.
I'd say it's pretty, you know, I'd say End On, like, a lot of Zorn's contemporaries, some Lucier, Rip, by the way. I don't know, it's a beast in itself. It really is post music. Like, when a record comes out, in virtually every single metal blog is like, this is a 10. Like, chances are it's a 10.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. What?
Ad nauseum, bro.
Dude, ad nauseum. See, I don't know. See, this is an interesting question, because the Ad Nauseum album can definitely fit in boundary pushing, and I would be willing... See, I'd be willing to switch out, like, pretty much any of these and throw them in the goated category, because, like, these albums are goated. And I know we have interesting, but I do think that each one of these albums does something a little bit better than Ad Nauseum does.
I'd probably agree with you.
So, I don't know.
Or you could, I mean, to be fair, Ad Nauseum also has, like, it's probably one of the best sounding albums of the year, like, period.
That is true.
Like, DR13, they recorded the entire thing themselves, made own instruments, right? And you can tell when you listen to it, right? Yeah. You hear every note of everything.
Actually, here, let's fucking throw them in the production, because that is, aside from sounding purely incredible, like, the record was assembled in a very different and interesting way.
Yeah, and, like, it is amazing. It's fucking phenomenal. It's just you know, it's not every year that Sepetus and Plebeian Grandstand drop albums.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of Sepetus, right? For a long time, you know, the first few times you listen to this record, it really is just like noise with very little there. And then the more you dig into it, the more you realize like how intelligently constructed like these just layers of like technical or blackened riffing are. You know, plenty of synth walls, plenty of just mire and grime, and then Doug Moore's ever wonderful vocal performances, right?
You know, I mean, it's all there. Like, the progression of hearing, like, I mean, obviously Doug Moore's a machine, but, like, even on the run of albums in the last couple of years, I mean, in 2017 you have...
we'll pass for Survival.
What passes. In 2018 you have the Weeping Source album. In 2019 you have... Well, 2019...
No, there's nothing in 2018. 2019 is Weeping Source.
2019 is Weeping Source.
And then 2020 is Glorious Depravity and Puron. And then 2021 is Cephalus.
This is a culmination of all that. And, I mean, it's truly great. Like, there's not a moment you're bored listening to this record. You can constantly find places of, like, really intense and kind of insane songwriting, like the back half of Deuteragonist, where like it just comes back into the massive walls of like kind of Imperial Triumphant like symphony. Yeah. It's so awesome, and there's so many of these like really catch-all moments aside from the insane performances that are, you know, driving this whole thing.
Yeah, it's well said. As far as Papangu goes, or Helsinki, I always mess up the band.
Yeah, no. So the band is Papangu.
Yes. As far as Papangu's record goes, you know, this record is kind of an interesting beast in the sense that it's basically it's 70s French prog or Zool mixed with progressive sludge metal like Mastodon.
Right.
And on paper you're like, it sounds fucking horrible. You listen to it and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is the best shit I've ever heard. Right.
No, go for
We've talked about our 70s prog boner quite a bit on this show, if it wasn't clear. And these guys like do the thing where they're conjuring the sounds of the greats and adding a new twist to it, and it also helps. You know, performances are consistently great. Things sounds great, and like there's so many just sticky fucking instrumental parts in this thing. Like I've had like the stuck in my head for like months.
Right.
And I don't know. I've never heard like a combination of sounds like this before. It's super cool, and the thing grips. It's really good.
Oh, the thing rips. I mean, this album it is 45 minutes, but it doesn't feel like it because you're flying through this whole thing. There's not really any downtime. Like the way that like the Zool comes through in the rhythm section while transitioning between the sludge metal and the progressive metal parts is just it's so interesting. You really never can picture what's going to come next because it will be something different. They will break down into like a really heavy sludge metal, death metal section, and then kind of go back into like these like Genesis like riffs and shit like that. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
phenomenal
bandwidth
record.
pushing.
I remember when this came out and I heard it. I was like, oh, I've seen this a few times. I heard it once and I was like, oh wow, like it's one of those records. It's really
Yeah, definitely one.
good. All right. Voidlorn Gaze.
Well,
My
yeah, go for it.
my first submission's 1914.
1914. Interesting. Okay, sure thing. Sure thing. Sure thing. Yeah.
I mean, look, I think we'd both agree that this is essentially just a continuation of their 2018 record, right? Blind Leading the Blind, where fear and weapons meet. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's called. Yeah, where fear and weapons meet. It's really, really,
Yeah.
really competently done. Asphyx meets Bolt Thrower, melodic, blackened death metal with plenty of sort of what's the diversions into other. There are folk sections. There are plenty of samples to keep you guessing. There's some horns orchestration, and as always, it's just very competently made. Production's a little cleaner than their past records, as they're now sound to Napalm. But spoiler alert, these guys know how to write really good songs, good riffs.
Yeah.
The lyrical content's amazing. Conceptually flows really well. It's a really good record, and at least for me, I don't know. I think there's something inherently pretty depressing about like World War One and like modernism.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think so. This like the thing that I really like about 1914, even going back to the Blind Leading the Blind, is like the topic is handled with a bit of maturity, like seriousness. Because if you go to something,
totally.
if you go to something like Sabaton or like I don't know any of the shitty power metal bands who talk about war, like they have songs like In the Trenches or The Last Stand or like Bismarck. I don't know. Like there's something real about Pillars of Fire, The Battle of Messines, or and A Cross Now Marks His Place. I don't know.
No, totally.
There's
Like, how many bands put this much effort into like historical accuracy, into like creating like a fully fledged concept where it's not just like, yo, dude, remember fucking
Yeah,
like right?
No,
It's super mature. It's super well done.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. All right, I would like to offer some stuff. I would like to offer Sermon of Flames to the Voidlorn Gazing category.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. I want to debate that one.
I mean, that record is just something else. Like, death and black metal on its own is certainly a tried and true genre, and like I don't know, like you can pretty much nail what a black and death metal album sounds like right off the top of your head. But this debut from these random Irish guys, it mixes that black and death metal noise and just kind of everything in between into a really abrasive and despondent package.
Yeah, this thing is like stupidly, stupidly heavy.
Like, it could have probably gone into the heavier than balls category, but like it does fit into something that's a little more nihilistic and depressing than maybe those other ones. I mean, like, you have song titles like Chords Wrung from the Ribs of the Earth, like, fuck, I don't know, Cauldrons of Boiling Piss. I've Seen the Light and It Was Repulsive is the name of the album. Like, if that gives you any indication of what this thing's gonna sound like, it's just the most blistering black and death metal, just infused with so much noise and, like, weighty production. It's really stunning. Very depresso, espresso, like, yeah.
Depresso. There we go.
Yeah.
My next submission is Has to be the Fawn Limbs record.
Yeah, I think that's a really excellent inclusion
That's
here.
a dismal goddamn listen.
It's not fun, but man, is it engaging? And like,
Yeah,
I'll say it again: the storytelling and the spoken word really works on that record.
No, right? It should be like the dumbest shit ever, right? Like what? This is like I don't know, a blackened mathcore sludge musical with spoken word sections. Like I'd
Yeah.
never listened to that in a million years. And you hear it, and it's like the water was cold, and you're like, holy shit.
No, you really
Holy shit.
it throws you into like this apocalypse scenario, and I mean the music really does fit. You might expect like some death metal or sludge metal, but something about the juxtaposition between like this really pretty like droning instrumental during like a lot of the spoken word parts, and then it'll go right into the blistering stuff from their first record that's just frontierer but like
Yeah.
taken down 5 octaves. It's really cool to listen to, and obviously unique.
Yeah, no, so I mean, it's one of those things where it's kind of like stupidly powerful.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Voidlorn Gazing. Let's see. I mean, I guess I could put.
So
Okay. Yeah, right.
I was
hold
gonna
on.
say, I mean, I think we have about 10 or so records left that I know
Yeah.
that we're gonna have to like that you and me are gonna have to put near somewhere. One of which is Rye.
Rye. Are you that sold on the Rye record, Sam?
Dude, are you kidding me?
I mean, I could be crazy, but I have listened to that album quite a few times, and
It's fucking amazing.
I wasn't totally sold on it when I had heard
It's like
it.
Funeral Doom depressive black metal.
No, I know, I understand, I know what it is. Is that in your Voidlorn Gazing? I mean, I have it on my list. It does exist.
I'd put it in the Voidland Gaze. Why? What else what else are you thinking of?
Well, I guess maybe like. I guess it's not really Voidlorn Gazing. I guess so. I guess that makes a nice inclusion. I don't know. What about like an album like Victory Over the Sun?
I was thinking about that, but that record's actually like if you actually like look at the story behind it, a lot of the songs are pretty like happy.
Oh, okay.
Like the last song is about like gender expression and finding yourself using like
Right.
this like the metaphor of a bird.
Okay.
Right. So I was gonna do that, but it's actually a pretty like light subject
Uplifting
matter
record. All right. Well, great record regardless. Maybe I need to listen to the Rye record again.
Dude,
But-
I'm telling you, I was like, okay, am I crazy or whatever? So I listened to it yesterday while I was driving, and it smacked, dude. I was like, holy shit.
Okay, I will listen again, but I have all right. Then I must put if we're gonna jump, if that's our last, and we're talking about, by the way, for those of you who don't know, we're kind of just bouncing back and forth, but there's a record by this like. I don't know if it's Ukrainian or Russian or
I think it's Russian.
what it is, but it's a blackened sort of doom metal / depressive black metal record that came out pretty early in the year, and it got some pretty popular coverage in its time. And the record is, I'm not gonna try and pronounce it, but it's got a fox in the cover. The translation is Rye. No, the great album cover. Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a listen, or some more listens. But I do have a tribute. Then I will tribute for our production category, the Golden Ashes record, because
Yeah, go for it.
I think that the production on that record, comparatively to the ones before it, are incredible. It's just more of kind of the Maurice de Jong black metal we love, but something about Golden Ashes just really takes it over for me.
No, I mean, like I still like after listening to black metal for several years, I still love the Wall of Sound, where it's just like,
Yeah.
yo, wait, is there supposed to be a a guitar in there? Is there drums?
No, seriously, like
No, it's just a mass at the same EQ. I don't know. I love that shit.
no, it's. I was considering putting this in my catharsis category, but I think that the ones we have in there are perfectly fine because I don't know, this album really does marvel to its production on how it is a wall of sound. Like the drums bleed into the reverb. The vocals are barely present, and you cannot ever make out whether something is a synth or a guitar. I challenge you. I challenge you, listener. Find a place where you can distinguish the two, because I
it's
cannot.
like one of those things where it's like distinctly underground metal. Because for most people listening to this, or for most styles, this would just be like the worst shit ever, right?
Right.
Like imagine if an Ariana Grande record sounded like this. Like,
Yeah.
Right. But for this style, it's so perfect. It's so
It's
natural.
perfect.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's that album is a lightless Christ shuns the crown of divinity. By the way, by Golden Ashes.
Yo. All right. The last two productions I think are pretty easy. Obviously, Injury Reserve.
Oh yeah.
Like, as from when I say production here, I don't necessarily mean the mix and how it sounds. I mean just the levels of like
overall like production quality, I guess.
Yeah, like the actual beats on the record are like some of the most forward-thinking I've heard ever in my life. Like from the start to the end, the use of samples, it's like electronic shoegaze with influence from other things, and it's so cool. It's so
there's
amazing.
everything. I mean, there's hard rock. We have some like blues rock, some metallic kind of rock. The traditional, I guess, not traditional, but the more straightforward experimental hip hop, and as said, everything in between. Like, this seriously does cover so much ground and tackle so much new stuff. I mean, there's a fucking Animal Crossing villager. Tom Nook is on this goddamn album as a feature, okay? Yeah. Like, there's... It's so strange that this record has so much conceptual weight, so much, just the songs have so much weight on their own. Every track is memorable for something, and... Like, there is
a dismal listen to.
This is a horrible listen. This could definitely go in Voidlorn Gazing.
Rip Grogs.
They're Rip Grogs. Like, but the way that they kind of made him into this record and have a part of this album still to make it a true, I guess, Injury Reserve album is really cool. And everything that they kind of did production-wise, like, this sounds great, but the stereo mixing, obviously you said the beats, it's so forward-thinking.
It feels like
it's brand
it feels
new.
like listening to like Kanye West for the first time, or like Death Grips for the first time, right? Like you hear this and you're just like, oh my, this is possible. Like,
yeah.
With production, this is possible with just synths or like plugins. Like it's insane.
Well, no, seriously. I mean, like most of this is just samples and random synth bullshit, and it's kind of incredible that they were able to make a hip hop album out of the elements that are on display here. I mean, I have no faith that they can't do it again, but like it's just a testament to the ability of the band to do such a thing.
Yeah, I know. Really wonderful record. Last one probably for production is probably Armed.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, hold on. All right. What are you bouncing?
Because thing is, like, right? It's like Knocked Loose of the Armed for different reasons, though, right? Because like Knocked Loose record is just like the most stupidly visceral metalcore record you'll hear in your life, right? And a large part of that is just comes from how hard hitting and forward thinking the production is. Whereas the Armed record is more of like a poppy, like noise hardcore record, but the fact that everything is like compressed to 11 is like such a bold statement,
I mean, I agree with you, and like, I don't know, like, we didn't even mention like Infinity Land on this list, but regardless, no, but I know what you mean. Like, the Armed, the production on Ultra Pop is Ultra Pop. I mean, as you said, everything is compressed to the utmost degree. Like, the songs bounce from being like these ridiculous mathcore and sludge metal tracks to these like really poppy, like radio-friendly tunes, all of which have layers upon layers of instrumentation and all this other crazy bullshit going on in the background. And it's executed incredibly. And I mean, Kurt Baloo does a wonderful job at kind of reining all of the madness into one little Pandora's box. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think production-wise, this record's definitely notable. And
yeah, no, I'd agree. Yeah, we can put it on there. Because the thing is, for when we're about to talk about our goats, and then I'm going to have to list like 5 albums, which should probably be on our list somewhere, which you've just not mentioned.
Yeah, no, goats. I mean,
okay, I'll go with what I'm leaning towards for 4, and then we can talk about like the 3 or 4 records which should be on our list that we just haven't covered. So I'm leaning towards Archspire, Suffering Hour, Mare Cognitum, and then The Body / Big Brave.
Hey, you know what? I pretty much agree. I think it. I mean, it can come close, and I certainly have other things that I like, but I think that's pretty much where we draw the line. I would.
Well, see now. So here. So Fluister Eyes should be on this list. Paranol should be on this list. Infinity Land should be on this list.
Infinity Land released 2 new songs today, by the way. Fun fact.
Ooh.
Date of recording.
And see, it gets hard.
Do we want? Oh, hold on. Do we want Paranol? Are we Paranol or are we Paranol, Asian Glow, Sonos Tomon Kanta?
We can do both, but I think the Paranol one is just
the Paranol solo record's pretty darn awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll put Knock Loose on there too, because seriously, I mean, that Knock Loose EP is actually incredible.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupidly good.
As someone who is not a fan, I am more than happy to put that up there. These poor boys over here, the poor Amun-Ra and Passage d'Hiver looked over. But yeah.
So when it comes to the actual goated, right? Those are probably the top 4 albums, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that I don't know, I think an argument could be made on either. I could make an argument against Archspire or The Body and Big Brave, but I do think that both of those records deserve to be somewhere because they are true testaments of good musicianship and goatedness. So I'm comfortable with them being there. But I do think that the records that we have just highlighted, that we will highlight and talk more about, do deserve to maybe be in there. Maybe we'll have an outsider category. Outside the party.
Well, I mean, let's be real. There are probably records on this list that we recognize aren't as good as these 4 we just put up there, right? Fluister Eyes should probably be in sheer catharsis, and whether that means killing Kadolfsto or Kawan, Fluister Eyes really should be there, right?
Right. And I mean, same thing we could say for Knock Loose and production. I would argue Infinity Land, not in boundary pushing music, but it definitely deserves to go either in that or the catchy AF genre.
Catchy AF, right? There are a few records that catchy. Paranol, I mean, should probably be boundary pushing.
Or genre embodiment. I mean, they really do a nice job at the classic, I guess, dream emo.
Well, not only that though, but it's it's shoegaze, it's emo, it's math rock, it's alternative rock, and it's noise. And when was the last time you heard such a stunning embodiment of those tunes?
Oh, none, never. I mean, the Paranol albums, both of them, the Split and To See the Next Part of the Dream are. I mean, they're both excellent attempts at that. Not attempts, successes. Excuse me, at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
It is tough, but I do think this is a relatively good-looking list. Should we talk about our goated? Because we should talk about our goated.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we've sort of touched on it already. Archspire is really just perfect tech death, right? When you think of tech death, you think of the bands that started the movement, right? Gorguts, and that stuff is anything but digestible. Yeah. And Archspire somehow make music which is 400 BPM, ridiculously technical, essentially zero vocal melody or hooks, and they make it insanely enjoyable, insanely memorable. Right?
Yeah, you no, go for it. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just gonna say these songs are incredible. Like, as songwriters, the band are just like on another level. Like, how many people can make music like this so digestible, so like, and what feels so effortlessly, right?
No, I mean it's kind of insane. Like there are 8 tracks on this record, and yeah, they only cover 30 minutes. And like yeah, there has been a 4-year break between records, but the physical content of what is in these songs is so much. There's so much music being played in the short span of like a half hour that it's kind of impressive that like a song like Drone Corpse Aviator or any of the others like Bleed the Future, Acrid Cannon, like or Cannon, excuse me, they're like pop tunes. I don't know, like you can really get into it. Like
Yeah, no,
you
totally.
you can do the call outs, you can follow the vocal patterns, you can even follow like the beats and the riffs. Like it is all incredibly digestible, but there's just so much going on, and they're playing so ludicrously fast that it just makes it
No,
something
like seriously,
totally.
I feel like there are very few let's look at like the history of like shred, right? If you think of like Steve Vai or Satriani or
Yeah.
fucking Malmsteen, right? You know, these guys aren't known for having good songs. They're known for shredding their balls off and having relatively lackluster, you know, solo material. But
Right.
then you listen to guys like Arcana, where these guys are clearly all like the pinnacle, like they're
Yeah.
the highest you can go with their instruments, every single one of them.
And like, yeah, they're memeing, but like, holy shit! Like the meme's there. Like it's fully there. They're really pulling it to like the 100%. They're
Yeah,
not
like-
holding back one bit.
Yeah, somehow they won the Tech Death arms race and just made the best goddamn tunes in the genre. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, there's no competition for me in Tech Death, or
No,
in
especially-
yeah.
I like this record's untouchable. It's insane. Suffer. It's funny because the other three are good for very different reasons.
Very different.
You know, Suffering Hour is, I guess, psychedelic black metal.
I wouldn't go so far as to call it psychedelic, but it is maybe psychedelic adjacent or influenced by the kind of production techniques and stylings that make, I don't know, a group like Aranzi Pazuzu or Dark Buddha Rising kind of what they are. But this is not those type of, that's not that type of music. This is, for all sense and purposes, black and death metal, but just with some of the most interesting production and songwriting techniques that I think have ever been written.
It's stupid. Like, this is one of those records that came out in like January or February, and like you heard it once and you're like, oh shit, this is definitely gonna be there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I listened to it for the first time in about a month or whatever while I was driving to school this week, and it's insane. It's untouchable. Like, it's so bizarre that the band can release like an album with 4 songs, which is primarily like, you know, black and death metal, essentially zero melody, and have it be so utterly like enjoyable, digestible, and
Yeah.
have all these hooks and these super memorable like cracked out guitar parts and really fun structures and callbacks to parts in other songs, and it's just immensely well done.
Yeah, no, they really kind of took it to 11 and did everything they were supposed to do in order to make this record one of just the most entrancing experiences out there. I mean, the main guitar tone of like that warbly kind of like really stoner guitar tone that like makes this black metal just kind of feel like very
Sounds like
showy.
Gig Honor almost.
No, seriously, like it's really just something kind of indescribable. It's such a weird meld between all the genres, but done so perfectly and with production and tones that you really just you don't hear. And
seriously.
every one of the songs has memorable moments. I mean, like through the entirety of the last song, The Foundations of Servitude, which is like 16 minutes, like there's just so much packed into that. But they are using so many like really clean quote unquote melodies in the guitar parts and clean passages that like because of distortion sound like they do, but makes this really psychedelic and otherwise otherworldly black metal album. or
Yeah,
death metal
I
album,
agree. I mean,
however you want to call it.
It's almost like kind of like Blood Incantation, right? Because like Blood,
Yeah,
like,
it's very similar.
both
to Blood
groups are
Incantation.
playing like a really like old style of music, and they're not. It's not like they're exactly rewriting the book, but like what changes they're making, like they just feel so. I don't know. They feel so good, and they're clearly very talented at it, at doing so.
Right.
And I don't know, phenomenal record. I think if I had to name one record of the year, it'd
Yep.
probably be Suffering Hour.
Yep.
You know, one of our mutual friends is also a fan of Suffering Hour, and he always jokes like, "Oh yeah, I mean, the record of the year is just Suffering Hour, right? Like, there's nothing else."
Right. Yeah.
And he's not wrong. It's that good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But you know what else also quite good? Yeah, I mean, Mere Cognitum does it again. We have consistently praised Mere Cognitum and all of the other adjacent Jacob Bukzarski projects, and I mean, this one is just this one is just like another incredible testament to his songwriting, his performance, and his own goddamn production technique. Honestly, like, this record sounds great.
No, totally.
But yeah, no, I mean, the new Mere Cognitum, Solar Paroxysm, just takes where Luminiferous Aether left off in 2016 and just brings it to full force once again. I mean, like, I think that the split with the Wanderers split is good, and while it might be have been a little overrated on our end last year, it doesn't compare to this, because it's such a different experience from that one, you know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, Wanderers is an incredible record, right? You know, perfect in a lot of senses, but it's not exactly an invigorating listen for a number of reasons, right? This record is an invigorating listen start to finish. You know, it's maximalist atmospheric black metal, always at full bore, with just some incredible melodies throughout, incredibly sticky parts, right? Atmospheric black metal is all about chords, it's all about repetition, it's all about establishing something and then building upon it. And you know, our guy is able to do this here, and incredibly so. Like, this is another record. It came out like March, and we were like, okay, this is just like the best record of the year, right? And lo and behold, here it is.
I mean, even the technicality present on this album is ridiculous. Like, talk about tech depth. Talk about impressive rhythm sections that's like buried underneath, you know, obviously the guitars and the synths. Like, but like, this is no like meat and potatoes black metal here. Like, he is consistently innovating on each one of these tracks, even to like a minor degree, adding cymbal flourishes and random like drum fills that just really fill out the entire record, and maybe make those repetitive sections like broken up into really distinct and memorable riffs. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's utterly astounding. Really accomplishment for the genre. I don't know. I feel like we say that every year, but it turns out there's a lot of really good atmospheric black metal. Like I said, we could easily have done 30 atmospheric black metal records on this list. I didn't even listen to that much.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny.
No, I could put in a ton, but same thing.
I guess the outlier then of our top four is the collaborative effort between The Body and Big Brave, which I'm not gonna lie, I remember, like, when they dropped their first single like a year ago, I was like, there's no way this thing's good, right? Like, this is gonna suck.
No, I really did not believe this was gonna be a good record.
Well, because you hear The Body and Big Brave, and you're like, okay, well, they're gonna combine, they're gonna drone it harder than anyone's ever droned. It'll be cool, you know, because Robin Waddy's a cool vocalist, and she adds a lot to like otherwise like pretty standard drone stuff. But then this record came out, and I remember listening to this once at like 2 a.m. driving back from school after a party, and I was like, it's like it's breathtakingly good.
No, it is. It's breathtaking.
Like, way better than it has any right to be.
I think it's funny that an album with such, I don't know, like a difference from what our normal listening capacity yields, like, I don't know, man. Like, I never thought a grassroots blues album would make it into our top four, but here we are.
Me either. I mean, it really sounds like sort of like Angels of Light, like the dark folk, dark Americana. Yeah. And I don't mean that in the Nazi sense. I mean that in the Michael Gira sense, with plenty of like psychedelic rock influence, plenty of sprawling instrumental passages. Once again, it favors a very like raw production aesthetic, and all these songs are just loaded with like clever little synths or like backing vocals or like guitar layers, and it just works. Like,
yeah, no, everything about this album really works. The songs are written incredibly. They have wonderful progressions, and both parts of this band, or both parts of the bands, like really fully collaborate. Like there is full collaboration. Everything is, taken into account and pushed to a place where we haven't seen it, because neither of these bands have, at least in my knowledge, done anything, at least recently, remotely similar to this. So to hear them jump into this with full force is really commendable. And I do think that Big Brave has a little bit of folk in their background, but like, whatever.
Yeah, right. Whatever. I mean, it's still astonishing to see like such disparate voices come together and be like, "Yo, fucking psychedelic dark Americana record."
Yeah. Like,
and then like the fact that we enjoy it saying something too, because like if I were to look at music I've listened to by far the least in my life, it is country and Americana. I just can't. It's not for me. But this record works. It's great.
No,
it's wonderful.
Even still, like, I'll go back and I'll plop on Blackest Crow, and I'll be like, this takes me a bit to get into, but as soon as you get into it and you're there, like, it just works perfectly. You're fully immersed in the emotion. You're fully immersed in the performances. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm definitely, it's definitely in my top. Like I said, if you were to tell me this a year ago, I'd be like, nice one, nerd. Nice one, nerd, and then like ripsticked away while listening to Nookie. Yeah.
All right. We gotta get these four things in there somewhere.
All right. I think. I'm willing to remove Cold though for Fluey Sterars any day of the week.
All right. Let's. That's an easy switch. Let's do that.
Because the Fluey Sterars album, like any other Fluey Sterars album, is just probably the best black metal album of the year. I mean,
we say that after talking about black metal.
I know we just talked about Mare Cognitum and like a bunch of others, but like there's something about the Fluey Sterars sound that like really just, man, this is the modern state of European black metal, and I'm in for it. Or at least of Dutch atmospheric black metal. Fluey Sterars are the kings, and this new record, which I cannot pronounce for the life of me. I could sure try, but Gegrepen door de Geest der Zielston Louis King is an insane record. 3 tracks, 40 minutes. Like, it's just the best Fluey Sterars.
Into more of like raw aesthetics here.
It's
there's a lot of improvisational, like sort of tribal aspects of Dutch music here, some folk influence. It's just, I don't know, it's really good. Like, they don't miss.
No, they don't miss, and it is very cathartic. You can you're gonna sit there and you're gonna drown in the the reverb and ambient on this one. Really cool stuff.
Yep, would fully agree.
I think Infinity Land can also kick out Leprous.
Okay, I was gonna suggest that, but I didn't want to touch your baby.
No, you're fine. You can do that, because even giving Leprous a little bit of a shout out makes me happy, especially when all those years ago in 2019, when we memed about Pitfalls being on the top of our list. You know what? Like, they do deserve it. Like, Leprous are a pretty great band and have been consistently. So you got to give them a little shout out. But yeah,
aren't they literally touring with the Ocean in like March?
They are.
What the heck? That's stupid.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no. This Infinity Land EP, Honest Comedy, that came out also in like March. I heard it and I don't know, I fell in love. I haven't been able to stop listening. I've purchased literally every piece of merch that the band has available. At least did up until like a little bit ago. And I'm not ashamed of that, because this is one of the more forward-thinking punk records, hardcore records, whatever you want to call it records, of the past 5 years, at least that I've heard.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, we definitely, for whatever reason, me and Adam really love our, like, metal adjacent, but very, like, forward thinking and in your face, like, math noise.
Yes,
Right?
that's exactly it.
Like austerity program, one of, let's be real, Bible songs still is like a 10.
Oh no, are you kidding? That album is
dude.
still perfect.
Untouchable.
Yeah.
Right? Or like Couch Slut, we also really love Daughters, right? Like,
Yep.
And it just so happens that Infinity Land kind of fill that niche with like a little bit more like metallic hardcore and a little bit more like old school punk than normal, and they do it perfectly. And this 4-track EP is like the most fun thing you'll listen to this year.
No, it's so fun. Yeah, no, it's just the variability in songwriting, in performance, and their ability to go from like a really just kind of not brooding, but like they have this ability to go from very different sections into like really epic climaxes and build into these things in such a short amount of time and then switch it back immediately to something else. And I don't know, the band just really kind of takes all their influences and uses them to the best of their ability without making them too much.
Yeah,
and I do think that they they have an incredibly unique sound. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, no, I mean it's super cool. Like the lyrics are hysterical, very very memorable.
Yeah.
Production's appropriately raw, sounds very visceral, and it's just really fun. Like, I don't think this is like incredibly groundbreaking, but it's really good.
No.
Yeah,
it's really really good.
And we just love me and Adam definitely have a boner for this very particular sound.
Oh yeah.
So, and they did it really well this year.
Yeah. No.
All right. So like the thing is, I feel like all the 4 boundary pushing music records are better than Paranol, but like Paranol's amazing.
I mean, we can put Paranol in there. We could also replace another in Catharsis if we wanted to.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
I feel like Paranol's pretty depressing.
I would say so.
I'd say,
I mean,
as much as I love Rye, I think Paranol's probably a better record than it.
I think Paranol is definitely a better record than Rye. Get out of there, Rye. But hey, again, we mentioned it. We love you. We love you, Rye. Thank you for joining the party for.
And then, okay, I know this Knocked Loose EP isn't actually quite like a genre embodiment the way the others are, but it's also Knocked Loose, who play like the most metalcore ever.
Well, I think that the funny thing about the Knocked Loose album is it really is, at least in my outsider knowledge, someone who has not extensively listened to Knocked Loose, it is beyond, like, they are pushing their sound the most on this record. Like, I have not heard something as energetic as When the Light Divides the Holler in a long time, or God knows, or any of them, frankly.
Yeah, no, like,
even the grindcore song on this album is sick. Like,
no, look, I agree. I mean, I saw Knocked Loose live in September on their first headlining tour after the pandemic, and it was a real like visceral experience. They have hits on hits on hits. The entirety of the sold out Middle East downstairs was moshing. Like they for the encore they did I wrote a song about getting better, right? And then during the Arf breakdown, I think everyone in that place two-step. Like, they just have like this rare ability to write ridiculously forward, not even forward thinking, but like in your face and straightforward like metalcore rippers that pull from like the best the genre has to offer, right?
Yeah.
And this album somehow sees them get heavier and progress their sound forward. Like, this is all you could ever want, right?
Yeah. And
it helps that it sounds amazing, super punchy, and it's visceral as shit. Like,
no, I totally agree. I actually, hold on, I have a thought. I do have a thought.
Okay.
We could axe either. I'm looking at the heavier than balls category.
Yeah, I was thinking body or humanity's last breath. I think honestly should probably be the body.
Yeah, we should probably get the body because we already have them on there.
And I'll put them in my honorable mention.
Yeah, all right.
Because we're giving them basically the top spot. And look, I fought against it, but I actually
It's shit. I don't know. There's one of them. I've seen all I need to see.
I've seen it. Like, it's a really great record. Don't be wrong, but I do think these 3 records are better than that. Or these 4 better than that. Well, that's a list right there.
Yeah, no, that is in fact a list.
It's funny because like I'm like, man, I listen to literally 0 music this year, and then I look at the list and I'm like, oh shit, I listen to at least like 40 albums, quite a bit.
No, yeah, no, I don't know. We listen to a lot more music than we think we do. And
well,
coming
also,
back,
also from like Spotify Rap doesn't track Bandcamp or YouTube, which is where I listen to a lot of underground metal.
Yeah, true, very very true.
Well, I guess let's just run it through it one more time for the listeners.
Yeah.
So for boundary pushing music, we have Sepatus, Plebeian Grandstand, Jutgite, and Papangu.
For catchy AF, we have Infinity Land, Playboy Cardi, Chemist, and JPEG Mafia.
For sheer catharsis, we have Fleesternars, we have Turnstile, Deaf Heaven, and Cowan.
For Void Lorn Gazing, we have 1914, Sermon of Flames, Fawn Limbs, and Paranoble.
For post-punk Lamau, these names will definitely get changed. We have Black Country New Road, Black Midi, Shame, and Squid.
For legacy bands smashing, we have Between the Buried and Me, Full of Hell, Wolves in the Throne Room, and Godspeed You, Black Emperor.
For heavier than balls, we have Frontier, Knock Loose, Humanity's Last Breath, and Succumb.
For genre embodiments, we have Spectral Wound, Worm, Tura, and Paranorm.
For production, we have Ad Nauseam, Golden Ashes, Injury Reserve, and The Armed.
And for actually goated, we have Archspire, Suffering Hour, Mare Cognitum, and The Body / Big Brave.
I would like to mention before I wrap this up, this is going for a while, that especially for the post-punk category, you know, I could easily see us putting either Black Country New Road or Black Midi in the top 5, like for the year, and then just like kind of, depending on the day or the week, switching around the top 5. Because, you know,
yeah, I do think that is something to note, because like when those records hit and when they dropped, obviously they made a huge splash, like commercially, internet wise, but they are really 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 bold and forward thinking albums, especially not compared to Squid and Shame, but like there is like a step up of,
yeah, no, I agree. Like, if both those records are 9s, right, then Squid and Shame are like 7s and 8s.
Right. Nothing wrong with that, but I do think it is important to know that, like, definitely in the actually goated, like, there probably would have been a Black Midi or a Black Country New Road.
Yeah, and honestly, I still, like, I flip-flop all the time. I'm like...
No, right.
Well, like, Black Country New Road's really good, and it's really emotional. Black Midi has John L., or, like, you know... Or
yeah, right.
Really, yeah, you know, the whole... So... And I'm sure we'll mention this. Well, Adam, there's no point in doing metal news, because this will get released in about 4 months.
No, it'll get released soon, but... I mean, I don't know. We check metal news.
Okay.
Let's check metal news. We might as well. It's been a while. We should inform the world of what's going on.
That's fair. Apparently, I don't know. If spoiler alert, the metal's filled with angry boomers that don't understand things.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Should we look at the best album lists of other establishments? Like, I'm right now. I think we should do that next week or in the starting. All right,
because there are only a few released right now.
That's true. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, metal is full of angry boomers. Always.
Yeah, literally. Some things never change. Yeah, Sully from Godsmack had a pretty hysterical, like, anti-COVID thing.
Yeah.
Not, we don't need to go into that.
A
lot of artists have done things for Hanukkah, which is cool.
Have they?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. Let's see. No, not too much, honestly.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like literally nothing happens.
Yeah.
Apparently, hey, Vince Neil's performing again.
Oh, good.
And he's still atrocious. Oh, actually, one thing that kind of pertinent is that you see the Protest the Hero announced a new live lineup. Their guitarist, Luke, their guitarist for many years isn't going to be playing with them live anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Is he still in the band?
Yeah, he's still in the band. He was just like, yo, I don't want to fucking tour. And they were like, okay.
Interesting. All right, yeah, sure. Yeah. New Boris album.
Yeah, right. Did you listen to his Cynic record?
What's...
It was... I really did not enjoy it, but maybe maybe I'm just a hater.
No, I don't know. I think Paul Masvidal is a very, very talented guy. But yeah, songwriting, man.
Oh, Metal Grammys. That's
Oh yeah, hey, that's, yeah.
Actually, honestly, we should probably just save this for next week and just rant about it. But the nominees this year are like not good.
Awful. No, they're horrible.
We got Rob Zombie, Dream Theater, Deftones, Gojira, and Mastodon. And not saying that any of these bands individually are bad. In fact, they're all actually pretty good. But it is 2021. I don't think any of these bands are under the age of like 50.
No, yeah, it's kind of stupid on the Grammys part to not have even a little bit of representation of the underground.
Well, not even the underground.
There's
like
none.
The popular, like younger
yeah.
metal music, right?
Right.
Like fuck.
Yeah.
I don't even like Spirit Box or Ginger, but throw them in there. They're huge. They're making They're making so many waves right now. Throw Zealandarter on there. Throw Converge on there. I don't know. Like
yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me, but
yeah, seems like they could try a little harder, but
Grammys will be Grammys.
Grammys. Honestly, we'll probably end up getting into it, but honestly, out of all these, it should probably go to Gojira.
Gojira? Really? I don't know.
Look, I don't even think I think the best song is obviously Deftones or Mastodon. Those songs are both much better than Amazonia, but Gojira are the only group of the ones I care. Actually, I think they're the only group here that don't have a Grammy.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then yeah. Gotta give it to Gojira.
Yeah, like, look, I mean, those guys have ground their asses off for the past 20 years to become one of the biggest forces in modern heavy music, right? They should probably be recognized by the Academy, even if I don't really like their new music.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bad list, though. Bad list.
Yeah, bad list.
Fucking all them. There's been way too much Marilyn Manson news in the.
Oh, I know.
News.
Well, he's been still in the public eye.
Thanks, Kanye.
Thanks, Kanye, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not much is happening in terms of his stuff, but like, I don't know. He was found. Wait, I don't know. Regardless, bad situation overall. Okay, Manson should not still be in the public eye, but he is. It's kind of gross, and yeah. I'm glad that he got removed from being in the Grammys.
Yeah, that was horrible. Fucking Diego left Haken.
Diego did leave Haken.
That's pretty big.
Very, very big and unfortunate news. But on to bigger and better pastures, so they say. And that's all we can ask for our boy.
It's funny. Adele was like the best-selling artist of all time. Her new album's like sold like 800,000 copies in the first week, which is a world like all-time record. And Spotify was like, "All right, what do you want to change?" And she said, "Oh, take off the shuffle button." Not like, no, we should pay underground artists.
Thanks, Adele. No, yeah.
Can't make it up.
But yeah, no, can't make it up.
Kid Rock has probably released the one of the worst songs I've heard in recent memory. His "F-U" Snowflake song.
Yeah. Don't tell me how to live.
Yeah. Oh my God, hysterical.
Yeah.
It sounds like a South Park parody. Like it literally sounds like Trey and Matt are doing like the butt rock voice. Like I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the Oblivion Access, formerly Austin Terrorfest lineup this year is disgusting.
Oh yeah.
As always, I don't know how they do it.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, seriously.
Like every year, it's like, oh man, I wish I was there. Oh, Animals as Leaders announced a new album. Shutters.
Yeah. Well, they dropped a couple solos.
Yeah, they dropped a few singles. I guess it's out next year. And actually, you know what? On that note, the new Rollo Tomasi single is actually really good.
Stop.
No. Drip?
No.
The new one?
Drip is okay. Dude, it's not even that good.
Dude, I think it's really good.
No. I don't know. I'm still nervous, Sam.
I mean, look, I don't know. I think this record will be like a 7, but
I don't know how sold I am on Drip. I'll listen to it again. We got plenty of time to talk about Rollo Tomasi.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess as we so this was our list week. This is our big list today.
I mean, yeah, this is the big list. I don't see much changing, frankly, from the list. I do want to listen to that new Kateru record and understand if I should question putting all Kyos Lemnos albums on this list. Because there was Varuva, Bree, and Kateru this year.
We should probably just carve out a spot for him. Like, it's like with the Doug Moore project. Just the...
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. We'll probably end up talking about our disappointments of the year. Again, that was fun last year.
Yeah, we'll do songs. We'll do disappointments. We can cover a lot of ground. This is a formula that we're not afraid to tackle because we do listen to a lot of music, even if it's not all Opeth. So we can.
Maybe we'll even finish the Opethacy before it hits a year. Old.
Maybe we'll see.
All right. Well, I've been Sam.
I have been Adam.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Have a safe rest of whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Bye.